Your man probably loves you. But did he buy you a Benz? Did he buy you a Mercedes 2020 AMG? Did he put a $4,000 ring on your finger? 'Cause sis, if he didn't, you need a new man.
It's women like this that have caused me to create today's video. One of my favorite videos I've ever released on this channel is the 10 characteristics of a high quality woman. I just rewatched it, and even though it's 2 or 3 years since I've made it, I 100% stand by the information. It's one of my best videos. I'll put a link in the description box below if you haven't seen that one yet, because it's important to be able to identify what makes a high quality woman, you know, the sort of women that you should be attracted towards, the ones that you should be pursuing. But equally important is knowing the kinds of women that you should be avoiding. I had a member of my Patreon community ask me, why haven't I created a video of the 10 characteristics of a low quality woman? I thought, yeah, I should absolutely do that. So that's what this video is. Now, spoiler alert, this woman in just a 15-second TikTok clip has already managed to display 5 out of the 10 characteristics of a low quality woman. She's clearly very trashy, very shallow, and that's not what you want your girlfriend to be. You want her to be a lady. At least that's what I want since I became a Lord Alexander Grace, which is totally my name, at least according to this here certificate. Hereafter, to all and sundry, I am known as Lord Alexander Grace on behalf of Established Titles, who are the sponsor of today's video. So what is Established Titles? Well, for me, I absolutely love trees. I live in a temperate rainforest, and Established Titles is this fun, novel idea that they had to preserve the natural woods in Scotland and also help in global reforestation efforts. They plant a tree with every order and work with global charities, One Tree Planted and Trees of the Future, to support global reforestation efforts. I got the title pack, which means that somewhere in Edelston, Scotland, there is 1 square foot of land in my name. I mean, am I a hero for single-handedly solving climate change? I mean, yes, obviously, but Lord Alexander Grace doesn't do things for his ego. He does it for the sake of the planet. I think it's awesome. I've got my own little plot number here, and I've been told that the first 200 people who purchase title packs through Established Titles using my link are going to have all their plots near mine, so we'll have our own little kingdom. Look, if you want more information on how it all works, check out their website. It'll answer all your questions. I think it's a really unique idea that these guys have come up with. I think it's great. I think the certificate is awesome. It'd make a good, like, last-minute gift for someone. You could officially include the title Lord or Lady on things like your credit card, your plane tickets, or your dating profile. Established Titles is actually running an early Black Friday sale, so if you use code Alexander when you're completing your purchase, you're going to get 10% off. So go to establishedtitles.com/Alexander and get yourself a Scottish plotish of land. All right, let's get into it. The 10 characteristics of a low quality woman, and these are in no particular order, but number 1 is she's mean. Men want women who are kind, who are nurturing, who are compassionate. That's kind of the point of femininity. So being mean is one of the worst things that a woman can be. If she's abusive, if she's critical, if she's insulting, then she's really low quality. Life is messy. There's always going to be disagreements, miscommunications. Nobody's perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. But whatever woman you're dating, you want to feel respected. You want to feel heard. If there's any tension between the two of you, you want it to be resolved peacefully. If she's mean while handling all those conflicts, then I write her off as a low quality woman. Second characteristic of a low quality woman is she's promiscuous, and I can't believe how far our society has slid into the muck that this is a controversial perspective that I have. Obviously, the more partners a woman has had, the more diminished her capacity for pair bonding. From an evolutionary psychology point of view, there's also concerns about paternity certainty. Women who've slept with lots of men are more likely to cheat on future partners and also more likely to divorce them. A woman who's promiscuous shows that she has no standards for the quality of men that she engages with. And to top it all off, it's a cheap and easy way for a woman to get self-esteem. There's no actual achievement there. Any woman can get sex. Being promiscuous as a woman is a low quality behavior. The third characteristic of a low quality woman is that she's anti-men. Sadly, in our culture at the moment, it's become sort of fashionable to shit on men, to hate the patriarchy, to be like an empowered feminist, and, you know, we don't need men because they're all so toxic. I'm not saying every woman who identifies as a feminist is automatically anti-men, but just have a few conversations with them and you'll be able to tell which ones are genuinely about empowering women and partnering with men to improve the lives of everybody, and which are just convenient excuses to engage in misandry. Do not tolerate a woman who's anti-man. She's being sexist and tribalistic. Unless she can recognize that masculinity has made a positive contribution to the well-being of everybody, unless she appreciates your individual identity not just as a human, but as a man, then I'm going to say low quality. The fourth characteristic of a low quality woman is that she's dumb. That feels really politically incorrect to say because, we're meant to respect the way people are born, but I'm not one of those people that believes that intelligence is 100% genetic. It's just something you're born with. We live in the information age. Everybody can educate and improve themselves. There's no legitimate excuse to live in ignorance of the world around you. If you're with a woman and instead of spending her time bettering herself and finding out how the woman works, she's just watching the Kardashians and scrolling through Instagram or whatever, then that's not good enough. At that stage, she's not a victim of her genetic destiny. She's dumb by choice. In your relationship, you want to be able to talk to your partner and have them understand, be able to engage with you. If she doesn't understand what you're talking about half the time, then no, she's a low quality woman. The fifth characteristic of a low quality woman is that she is sexually selfish. You don't hear many people talk about this because, we're all nervous to give any kind of credence to the idea that people are entitled to sex or whatever like that. But I'm unashamedly going to say that one of the major points of a romantic relationship is sex. That should not be controversial. So if you have a girlfriend who's completely happy to enjoy all the benefits of being in a relationship with you, your companionship, your compassion, your resources, your time, your energy, all of that stuff, but she feels no desire to be sexually reciprocal, then that's a low quality characteristic. Sexual selfishness is terrible, and in women it can often manifest as shaming men for their sexual impulses and desires. What, you want to have sex with me all the time? You just want to see me naked and engage in, sexual acts? Yes, we're men. We're biological creatures. We have massive neurological incentives driving us to those behaviors. Do not shame us. Obviously, there's a nuanced discussion to be had about she's not going to necessarily be in the mood at the exact same time, and you need to be respectful of her boundaries and all of that stuff. 100% agree with, but don't let that get in the way of the fundamental truth, which is that by being in a romantic relationship with you, she has agreed to be in a sexual relationship with you. You don't tolerate selfishness or cruelty or shame in any other area of your relationship, so why should sex be any exception? The sixth characteristic of a low quality woman is that she refuses to improve. She doesn't want to better herself. Very few people enter adulthood as a fully formed, well-functioning, healthy, well-adjusted human being with, high self-esteem, a lot of emotional intelligence. Most of us are deficient in one or many more areas. Very few people had perfect childhoods. That's okay. That's understandable. But everybody should have as a base recognition that by the time you've left your parents' house, you're going through your late teens, your early 20s, the job in front of you is to improve, to become better, to increase your quality. A woman who doesn't want to do that, who's completely happy with herself, she's no interest in changing, that's a huge red flag. I say it's a low quality characteristic because it has implications for how she's going to interact with you. There's going to be fights, there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be conflicts, and those are always opportunities to grow in your understanding and your resilience as an individual and as a couple. So if she doesn't want to do that, then you're fucked. It's actually a sign of love that you have for another person, that you want to work on yourself for their sake. You want to remove all the internal blocks that you have that prevent you from being there for the other person completely. And if she doesn't want to do that because she's lazy or selfish or entitled or whatever, then she's a low quality woman. The seventh characteristic of a low quality woman is that she is excessively masculine. A little bit of masculinity in women is actually a good thing. You don't want her to be completely feminine because then she's got no capacity for rational thinking or engaging in practical tasks. You want her to be a mix of both. In my latest Patreon video, I've actually got this 19-year-old girl reacting to a video that I made about the dangers of being 100% masculine as a man with no femininity. So if you're interested in knowing what the right balance is and how to achieve that as an individual, please check out that video on my Patreon. But a woman who is excessively masculine to the point where it actually inhibits her expression of femininity, that's low quality. Excessively masculine women are so frustrating to deal with. They're unnecessarily competitive. They try and undermine your leadership as a man. Men want to date women, not men. We're attracted to femininity, not masculinity. So why on earth are you imitating the men around you when you're crafting your personality? You're a woman. Be a woman. I made that video a while back on the myth of men being threatened by women, as though, men are just threatened by women who are really masculine. It's like, no, that's not what's going on. We don't find it threatening. We find it kind of gross. You could call that characteristic excessive masculinity or also lacking femininity. Either one makes the same point. But the 8th characteristic of a low quality woman is that she is superficial. We all have a value system and some are just better than others. I'm not one of those people that believes that every point of view is equally valid. No, if you've got a girl and her value system is integrity, honesty, family, love, connection, friendship, children, and then you've got another girl and her value system is clothes, makeup, drama, gossip, money, I have no problem saying that this girl is a high quality woman and this girl is a low quality woman. Superficiality is so unattractive on women, and I'm always embarrassed by how much men will tolerate superficiality from their girlfriends. Fellas, we've got to start doing better. Please hold women to higher standards. Stop dating superficial women. Look for someone with more depth. We also need to collectively stop rewarding women who display this 9th characteristic of a low quality woman, which is entitlement. Men, please stop dating entitled women, because when you reward those women with your presence, your relationship energy, you send the message to all women that that's okay for them to be entitled. No, we need to starve out that segment of the female population. Entitlement is one of the worst characteristics that women can display. You know, the kind of woman who just has that attitude that the world owes her something and she refuses to take responsibility? Like when you're in a relationship with her, you're fighting all the time because she never takes accountability for her actions or her words. That's because of entitlement, and female entitlement is just the worst. Those kinds of women are not actually looking for a male partner, they're just looking for a slave. Entitled women are selfish and self-involved. They're low quality. And finally, the 10th characteristic of a low quality woman is that she hates children. Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about it. You didn't think I was going to shy away from this one, did you? Never forget the truth that we are biological organisms, and one of the fundamental driving instincts that we have is to reproduce. Despite our culture and our civilization, we are not exempt from the rules of biology. We are part of the animal kingdom. So when you encounter a woman who says, "I would never want to be a mother because I hate children," that's a red flag. Not so much the part about her not wanting to be a mother, because, you know, who knows what trauma she's been through. That might be the most sensible choice for her as an individual. But if she just collectively hates all children, that's weird. Healthy, well-adjusted women like children. They like the innocence. They like the playfulness. That's where they get to express their femininity and their nurturing. And while I can understand that individually you might know some bratish children who are brought up by lazy parents, and so you've got a kind of aversion, to just collectively hate all children shows that you're disconnected in a fundamental way from your femininity. That's a problem for you, not just because it's going to inhibit your capacity to have children in the future with this woman, but because you're counting on those same feminine characteristics that can get expressed in motherhood to also make her a loving and supportive partner for you. Now, as a final note, before I end this video, I need to make some very, very important points, which is that when I'm talking about a low quality woman, like characteristics of low quality, I'm not so much talking about like, here are bad people, they're evil, and we need to judge them. I'm simply talking about this is not a good investment for you as a man in these kinds of women. Like, it's best for you, for your own selfish benefit, to avoid them. In truth, if a woman actually displays a lot of these characteristics, so long as I'm not in danger of being in a relationship with her, I have a lot of compassion for her. Like a woman who's genuinely like entitled or hates children or feels the need to be like really mean and cruel and insult everybody, something has obviously gone really wrong. If she grew up in a healthy, loving, supportive family with parents who really saw her, understood her, made her feel visible and appreciated, then she wouldn't be acting that way. And so obviously compassion is the response. So understand, I'm not judging low quality people. I'm just saying that they're not suitable as partners. And if you're a woman listening to this and you're thinking, God, I display a lot of these characteristics, I'm not here to shame you. But when it comes to your dating life, please recognize that you have two choices. One is you can refuse to change and then just get angry at the world, angry at all the men around you for not accommodating your personality. Or you can change, you can grow, you can become a better person. You can throw off the fate that was gifted to you by your awful start in life and actually work to become a person of genuine character and integrity. Do that one. It's in your selfish benefit, because the better a person you become, the higher you raise your quality, the better quality of man that's going to be attracted to you. And from a selfish point of view, I also want to point out the omissions from this list because I have been attacked by some women online before whenever I use the term low quality. It's like, oh, you just mean a woman who's old, a woman who's ugly, a woman who doesn't do everything that you say. I hope you took notice that things like looks and age were not on the list. When I say low quality, I'm referring to personality characteristics. If there was a woman who had a wonderful personality, she was supportive, she was feminine, she was dedicated to self-improvement, but her face was unattractive, I would still call her a high-quality woman. I understand that most men, myself included, are probably going to take her physical appearance into account when deciding whether or not she'd be a suitable romantic partner. But understand that being old, being ugly doesn't make you a low-quality woman. Being unpleasant does. That is what I mean by a low-quality woman.